Hey everyone, and welcome to this explainer. I'm absolutely thrilled to have you here today. We're going to take a really deep dive into a profoundly simple yet literally life-changing story. It's a classic fable about two boys living in a small village, but the lessons it holds about value, human connection, and, well, legacy, they are completely universal. We're going to break down the source text to uncover what truly matters when the chips, or in this case, the tires, are down. So, I want you to consider this question for a second. Can you be the richest person in the room, but still have absolutely nothing? It sounds like a total paradox, doesn't it? In our modern world, we're so often conditioned to equate wealth with success, happiness, the whole shebang. But this text challenges that assumption right out of the gate. It really forces us to ask whether material riches can ever truly make up for a lack of emotional wealth. And to understand this, we need to meet our two main characters. Section 1. A Tale of Two Boys. All right, let's dive right in. Every great story is built on contrast, and the text sets up this stark, undeniable dichotomy between two figures in a small village. Now, this isn't just about different bank account balances. It's about entirely different ways of experiencing the world. On one side, we've got Arjun. He's the son of a wealthy businessman. And then, way on the other side of the village, we have Ravi, a poor boy whose family really struggles just to earn enough money to get by. That geographic separation perfectly mirrors their socioeconomic divide. But as we'll see, the real distance between them has absolutely nothing to do with money. We can actually break down their realities into three distinct categories based on the text: possessions, demeanor, and attitude. Under possessions, Arjun has expensive clothes, the newest toys, and literally everything money could buy. Ravi? Well, he has very little. But consider the demeanor aspect for a second. Despite having everything, Arjun rarely smiles. Meanwhile, Ravi, despite his family's severe financial struggles, always wears a smile. And finally, look at their attitude towards others. Arjun often treats people with a lot of pride, while Ravi respects everyone and never refuses to help anyone in need. It's a brilliant illustration of the central irony here. Arjun's expensive toys couldn't manufacture joy, while Ravi's hardship couldn't erase his kindness. Section 2. The Muddy Road. Okay, so we have our two entirely separate worlds established. But for a story to happen, these two separate worlds have to collide. Let's trace the timeline of this one rainy evening. Event number 1. It's pouring rain, the road is lonely, and Arjun's car gets hopelessly stuck in deep mud. Right then and there, all of his family's wealth is entirely useless. Event number 2. Many strangers walk by, but they do nothing. They just keep walking. Then, event number 3 happens. Ravi arrives on the scene. Keep in mind, the text specifically notes that Ravi is already tired after a long day of work. But that brings us to event 4. Despite his complete exhaustion, Ravi uses all of his strength to push the car until it finally comes free. He steps into the mud, literally and metaphorically, for someone else. I really want to pause on this specific line from the text. Many people walked by without stopping. The absolute crucial point here is that Ravi's action wasn't the default human response on that road. The cold reality of the situation was apathy. People saw a stranded car, maybe even saw a wealthy boy in trouble, and decided it just wasn't their problem. And that perfectly frames Ravi's selflessness. He didn't help because it was easy or because everyone else was doing it. He helped when no one else would. Section 3. The currency of kindness. So, the car is free, and the immediate physical problem is solved. Now Arjun, operating entirely from his worldview of transactions and wealth, tries to settle the debt. He thanks Ravi and immediately offers him a large amount of money, because in Arjun's mind, everything has a price tag. But let's sit with Ravi's response for a second. I didn't help you for money. I helped because you needed someone. Ravi smiled and gently refused the cash. He wasn't angry, He was just clarifying his motivation. His actions were driven purely by compassion, not commerce. For Arjun, who has been surrounded by people treating him a certain way because of his father's money, this gentle refusal absolutely shatters his reality. Ravi didn't see a rich boy to exploit. He just saw a fellow human being who needed a hand. Before we see how Arjun reacts, I kind of want to turn this back to you. Have you ever stopped to help someone simply because they needed it? Not for a reward, not for recognition, not for a favor in return, but just because they were a person in front of you who needed someone? It's a profoundly high standard to hold ourselves to, and it's the exact standard Ravi lived by every single day. Section 4. A change of heart. The text tells us that Ravi's words stayed in Arjun's heart. But, words alone don't change the world. Actions do. What makes this story so compelling is how Arjun processes this encounter. He doesn't just go back to his wealthy life and forget about the boy in the mud. It triggers a massive transformation. Let's trace the chronological steps of Arjun's evolution here. Step 1. The very next day, Arjun actively seeks Ravi out and visits his home. Step 2. He witnesses Ravi's reality firsthand. He sees how incredibly difficult the family's life is, struggling just to get by. And step 3. The realization hits him. Seeing a boy who has literally nothing materially, but who is rich enough in spirit to help a stranger for free, makes Arjun realize that true wealth isn't measured by money at all. This really brilliantly illustrates the depth of his change. Arjun didn't just feel a fleeting sense of pity. He changed his actual behavior. The text explicitly states he became kind and humble. And consider the actionable ways he supported his community. He started helping poor families with food, with education, and with work opportunities. He took his systemic advantages and resources and used them not to buy more toys, but to elevate the people around him. He finally learned how to use his money to create actual, meaningful value.
Section 5. The true measure of greatness.
Okay, so we've seen the inciting incident, the climax, and the immediate transformation. But the source text zooms out at the very end to give us the long-term perspective. It looks at the ultimate legacy of Arjun's life choices. Years later, people no longer remembered Arjun as the richest boy in the village. They remembered him as the kindest. Man, that is incredibly powerful. The village completely forgot about the expensive clothes, the newest toys, and the wealthy businessman father. Material wealth fades from public memory. What endured, what actually etched Arjun into the history of that village, was the profound positive impact he had on their lives. So, we arrive at the explicit moral of the text: true greatness. Money can make you rich, but kindness and a good heart make you truly great. Being rich is simply a state of financial accumulation, but being great, that is an achievement of character. It requires empathy, action, and the willingness to push someone else's car out of the mud when everyone else is just walking by.
Which leaves us with this final thought. Are you striving to be just rich, or are you striving to be truly great? It's a choice we make every single day in how we treat the people around us. I really hope this explainer has given you a fresh perspective on the true currency of kindness. Thank you so much for joining me to unpack this fantastic story, and I challenge you to take a little bit of Ravi's spirit into your world today.